Up on the show today, Dick Durbin is DUNZO.
Out of there.
Elon and Scott Bessent, they're spatting. I don't know if I believe. Do I believe this? I don't know if I
they've admitted it, so it's true.
I don't like this. Can we just not?
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
And baby bonuses are racist.
Of course they are.
They're racist, you guys. So are all of you. All that and so much more coming up on the show today. You guys can check us out on all the things chicks at www.chicksontheright.com/links. Please do that. Also, click subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done that already. We'd really appreciate that. We would be most grateful if you would do that. I need to mention that Aura is your shield. So you can stay protected no matter who's watching. We bought a car last week for my daughter who, you guys, she's 15. She's going to be driving. So we had to get a car for her. And then they did all the credit check stuff. Man, Aura was on top of it. It's like they're checking your credit. They're doing the stuff. Is this okay? Are
you trying to buy a car for real?
I mean, they are on top of it. They're completely awesome. Visit our sponsor, Aura, at aura.com/chicks today. Start your 14-day trial. Do it. They will check. They are all over. They are helping you all the time.
It's true.
Also, you guys, if you haven't checked it out already, make sure you check out our interview with Becky Weiss.
That was fun.
We did it last Saturday. It's up there. If you haven't checked it out, you should check it out.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of positive commentary. People seem to like that interview a lot. So don't be left out. Just watch it. Hello.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the things and the stuff. We're going to kick it off with a segment about immigration.
Yay.
Perhaps you heard about this insane story out of California. There's a twice deported illegal by the name of Oscar Eduardo Ortega Anguiano.
Why? Does he have so many names? Why?
I don't know. But he killed two teenagers in a drunk driving incident. He was going down the 405 at 100 miles an hour, blistering drunk. And because California is California, he apparently is being let free. He had a 10-year sentence, but I guess he's behaved well in prison. So after serving just over 3 years, he is going to walk. Now, Tom Homan, super mad. He was on one of the news shows yesterday to talk about this case and why he's so mad. Here's Tom.
You know, Bill, everybody asks why I get so emotional on network TV, why I get emotional when I testify, because I've met hundreds of angel moms and dads and hear every story. I'll never forget any of those stories. It's just a tragedy. But I'll make this commitment right now. I'll work with Secretary Noem on this case, and I guarantee you, if they don't honor a detainer, we have ICE agents outside that facility to take custody of this individual and deport him. He's been deported several times, which means he's a felon. Re-entry the country at the form of deportation is a felony. We will prosecute him and we will deport him. I'll make that commitment. I'll work with Secretary Noem to make sure that happens.
Good. Could you imagine if these were your kids?
And just watching the videos of the dads, and I mean, it's just horrendous. Now, the good news is that a new U.S. attorney in L.A., Bill Essayli, I think is how you say his name, he has announced that he is going to charge this guy with felony reentry, and they're going to try to imprison him for 20 years because this is felony reentry. So he's like, if the state of California is not going to seek the full measure of justice against him, then we will.
Thank God.
Right? I mean, I just love that. I love that they mean business. They're not just letting this shit go. And that is a really, really good thing.
Because I cannot believe this. This guy would get to walk and these kids are gone. And he committed a crime to begin with.
Twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Way to go, California. I just cannot.
And these are the people the Democrats are like, oh, no,
I know. I feel so
everything to protect them.
I know. We got to go get them. We have to protect them at all costs. F you, man.
Oh, there were kids involved that were killed that were American citizens.
Whatever. We don't care about them. We don't care about the American citizens and those kids. I mean, who cares, right?
It's absolutely insane. It's kind of the same, people are still, their hearts are bleeding over that Mahmoud Khalil guy. I saw this tweet about him because he's still being, I think, held in Louisiana somewhere, something like that. Anyway, his wife ended up having a baby just a few days ago. And so Writers Against the War on Gaza said Mahmoud Khalil missed his son's birth because of ICE.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Shai David, I love what he said. He was like, Mahmoud Khalil missed his son's birth because he prioritized his support of terrorism over his family.
Amen to that.
And I was like, yeah,
that's right. That is right.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I need to talk about something good for a second. So I'm going to talk about trees.
Let's do it. We
and
can talk about
plants.
Trees.
And azaleas.
Are they planted yet?
It's getting closer. So placement has occurred, as I told you yesterday. But and then last night, Ron went to Lowe's to pick up like something. He needed like piping for extending irrigation. I don't even know. Like he's become so planty.
Mr. Plant Man. Yeah.
And so there's a process. He's not apparently just digging holes and shoving them in the ground. He's like doing this really, really.
I'm going to tell him that he
carefully.
puts the whore in horticulturist. That's what I'm going to tell him the next time I see him.
You should tell him that.
I totally will. Yeah, totally.
But anyway, I can already tell that because of where they're placed, I can tell that they're going to be, I mean, it's going to be beautiful. He's doing a really, really nice job. And this is the time that you want to start planting stuff. It is spring. This is the best time to plant. And so Fast Growing Trees has 50% off of select plants right now. And when you use code CHICKS, if you're a newbie to fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks, if you use code CHICKS at checkout, you'll get an extra 15% off of your very first purchase. Don't forget, this goes for indoor plants. This goes for flowering plants, bushes, trees, all the supplies that you might need, pots. If you don't have those for indoor plants, they've got everything that you could need. It's the largest online nursery in the world. They've got 2 million plus happy customers. Check them out. fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. Use code CHICKS. Speaking of immigration, there is an immigration attorney who made like a TikTok or a reel or what have you, talking about how, you know, right now Democrat judges are trying to stop Trump's deportation efforts at every turn. But there's an interesting twist because it seems like there's some different standards at play here. And so he's going to explain those different standards in the video that you're about to see right here.
Did you know that according to the ACLU and Migration Policy Institute, approximately 75% of deportations under the Obama administration, 2009 to 2017, were non-judicial removals, meaning they bypassed immigration court hearings and judicial oversight. In fiscal year 2012 alone, 313,000 non-judicial removals occurred, compared to only 1,400 in 1995. These removals often involved expedited removal or administrative removal, where Department of Homeland Security agents, such as Border Patrol or ICE officers, made decisions without involving an immigration judge.
Oh.
Where was all the hysteria about due process back then?
Yeah.
And if Obama can do it, why not Trump?
Yep.
I'm Joseph Bovino, U.S. immigration and business attorney based in Miami and serving clients worldwide who love my country and respect its immigration laws.
Well, because Obama was Obama and he was the first Black president, and you dare not question him.
He can do whatever he wants.
He could do anything, you guys. And Mean Orange Man can't.
Got to stop him. Got to stop him from doing the exact same stuff that Obama did.
Right.
Because it's not okay when Orange Man does it. Not
totally
okay.
So different.
If you thought that colleges had calmed down on their basically assaulting of Jewish students and their harassment of Jewish students, you would be wrong. It's still happening. And at Yale, things are ramping up. It's getting real dicey. This was not last night, but the night before. Here's a video of Jewish students just trying to access a building. They probably like had a class to go to or an event to go to of some sort. And this is what they encountered. Look at this. They're all linked together, not letting them die.
This is my space too. I want to walk through my space. This is my space. I pay for this space. This isn't your space.
Yeah. So
this makes me so mad.
This is my campus too.
Why are they all masked up?
They're cowardly jackals.
Why are they all messed up? So Candace Owens is okay with that? That's free speech.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like that is?
The people that come out in defense or the people that stay silent about these kinds of incidents, they are complicit.
Yep.
And when you frame it in a way that Polymath does in this tweet, it really hits home. It says, all you have to do is imagine that this Jewish student is Black and that the people blocking him are 1950s era Southern whites. And it becomes immediately obvious that Yale is tolerating the most vile racism and the government needs to intervene, which is, of course, exactly what Trump's trying to do.
It's just free speech. Don't you understand? No,
oh my
bullshit.
God.
It's not free speech. It's just ridiculous. It's discrimination. It's outward discrimination is what it is. And everybody that defends it, you think it's okay because you hate Jewish people. You think
There's
it's
no
okay.
other reason.
There's absolutely zero other reason. That's what it is. It's you are an anti-Semite. That's why you're defending it. Stop it.
It's just not okay. Thankfully, at least I think this was late yesterday. There was a tweet that came out that said, this was at 4:00 yesterday afternoon. It said Yale has suspended its Students for Justice in Palestine chapter and announced that students involved in last night's violent encampment are facing immediate disciplinary action. There can be no more tolerance for this behavior. Let students go to class, which is great. Except that last night there were problems again. And so this morning I heard on the news that now they're actually like, what is it called when they stop a club from being able to be a club on campus? Like they de-chapterize it or I don't know what the term is, but basically
like
they're putting a stop to the club.
They revoke its charter or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. They're saying you can't club anymore because you've proven that you don't know how to club.
You can't club anymore.
If there was that kind of clubbing, it would be okay.
Right. Exactly.
And speaking of hating Jews, this was an interesting thing I don't think got very much attention, but apparently Rashida Tlaib introduced an amendment to some bill that would declare that Israel is every bit as much of an adversary to the United States as North Korea, China, and Iran are.
Oh, come on.
I could not believe this. And so this amendment failed, thankfully, with an overwhelming majority. So in other words, there was like 400 and something Congress people who were like, absolutely not.
You're a crazy person. Yeah.
And in the first round, 3 people, and you won't be surprised at who they are, voted, we should make this an amendment. It was not AOC, I'm sorry. It was Rashida Tlaib, who of course introduced the amendment. Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley. And then the second round, Al Green joined in. These are the Jew-hating psychopaths that actually hold congressional seats. It's disgusting.
Oh my God, these people are crazy. Like just absolutely nuts. They are in charge of people. You know what I mean? Like they actually represent constituents. It's gross.
Right. It's vile. And they're so outward about it. I mean, I guess thank God that it was only 3 or 4, but the fact that there
are 3 or 4.
Right. I mean, and it's just, and then you see all the stuff happening on campuses. I don't know how many of the agitators are actual students and how many come from, how many are paid agitators. But the fact that this is happening on campuses is such like a sad commentary on just how much our entire education system has fallen. Which is why we were super excited to partner with Freedom Project Academy. If you are worried about your kids and their education, and they are young kids, if you've got kindergartners through, seniors in high school, and you want a different choice, and maybe you're interested in homeschooling, or maybe you're just interested in online learning that is actually effective and that aligns with your values,
or if you want to supplement.
Or if you want to supplement. Exactly. Freedom Project Academy is fantastic. They launched 15 years ago. We've talked about them in the past. They're even introducing pre-K coming up shortly, I think within this year. They offer an education that ends up, if you have kids that go, say that you just want to use them for elementary school. So it's like K through 6. When they enter 7th grade public schools, they're usually like 2 or 3 grade levels ahead of their peers.
Yep.
That's how good the curriculum is.
It's so amazing, you guys. The curriculum is
my gosh.
outstanding. It really is outstanding.
It is. It's absolutely incredible. They experienced their biggest growth during COVID because a lot of parents were like, well, if my kid's going to be forced to do online learning, I'm going to send them somewhere that's actually really, really good and not to a public school who's only just now figuring out how to even do online learning.
Right.
That's all Freedom Project Academy does. They are the experts at it. And you can save right now 15%, which is huge because their tuition is super, super low.
Right.
So to offer a 15% discount is kind of a big deal. You can check them out at freedomforschool.com and then use code CHICKS15. You can also get previews of their classes. You can go to their website right now and get previews of their classes. So if you're a grandparent who's concerned about your grandkids and their education, check them out, you guys, because it's a really
it's great for moms moms or dads who homeschool who are like, you know what, I just don't want to teach my kids math. And then you can
or maybe they don't feel comfortable knowing all the math, right?
Exactly. It's a fantastic resource, you guys. You should check it out.
Freedomforschool.com, and again, the code CHICKS15, CHICKS15. Also, you remember, of course, that Donald Trump, there was an executive order early on because he's coming up on his 100th day in office. And there was an executive order early on that he wanted to get rid of DEI across organizations, across universities, across all of those things. And so now we've heard stories about how some organizations are trying to hide people who had DEI related titles like diversity officer or whatever. Now they're changing the names of those departments in order to try to hide the fact that they're still doing it.
Right.
An amazing new example from Libs of TikTok yesterday, Mayo Clinic of all places. This is so disappointing, but the Mayo Clinic just renamed their DEI office to the quote, Office of Belonging.
That's not better. It's not, you're not. Can you not do better than that? I mean, come on.
Office of Belonging?
It's the Mayo freaking Clinic. Aren't there smart people there? Could you not have thought of something better? Oh my God.
We're so stupid.
We're on to you, Mayo Clinic.
Yeah, we're onto them because they were too stupid to remember to change the name across all of their web pages. And then because there are spies on the inside who actually have brains, somebody sent to Libs of TikTok an email that they received saying, "Dear colleagues, we've been asked to ensure that all titles referencing equity, inclusion, and diversity or similar combinations are changed to belonging on all social media accounts that reference your Mayo Clinic role. This includes LinkedIn, X, Blue Sky, Facebook, all other social media platforms in which you are identified as a Mayo Clinic employee and reference your role in this space. Make this change by the end of today." Oh my God.
Our logo is just a big hug. I can't.
We know what you're doing.
Stupid. Right.
We see
They're
you.
on to you.
God.
Stop it, Mayo Clinic. Get back to doing medicine.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, moving on. Obviously, Pete Hegseth has been in the news this week. We spent a lot of time talking about him yesterday. He is now fighting off a new rumor. This one is so ridiculous, but I saw this morning. CBS reported that Pete Hegseth has ordered a makeup studio be installed.
God, I just stop it.
It's like, seriously?
They're like, he's drunk and doing his makeup. He's drunk. Okay.
So he obviously retweeted this and said, number one, totally fake story, no orders and no makeup, but whatever. Number two, we should have installed tampon machines in every men's bathroom at DOD instead. The leftist news media would have loved that.
It's true. They would have.
Oh my gosh. CBS.
It never ends. It just never ends with these people.
It never ends.
I know we have a story coming up. I know we do about like the media and stuff that they've missed. Seriously, they focus on the wrong stuff and they don't actually do their jobs, which is journalism. None of these people are journalisming. None of them are.
It's just pathetic. And then when they do try to journalism with their imaginary sources, these are the stories they get. Oh my God, he's trying to install a makeup studio.
Right.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
He did make a speech yesterday in which he had a couple of important announcements. One, that all of the, I can't remember the number now, like 8,500, 8,700, something like that. All of the service members who were forced out of the military during COVID because they wouldn't get the vaccine, they're now being welcomed back. I thought this was really, really great news.
So great. So great. Because those are the people.
We're also welcoming back former service members who were wrongly forced to leave the military.
Hell yes.
More than 8,700 service members were involuntarily separated for not taking an experimental COVID-19 vaccine.
So great. I mean, that's
right.
That's just awesome. Because those are the people who stand for something. You know, they were
that's
like,
who you want fighting for you.
Of course, yeah, because they're fighters. A lot of them. Jessica said they will never come back. I think some will. Especially under him, under his leadership. They'll be like, yeah, I'll go back. Some won't because they found other avenues to go down, but some probably will.
Yeah. And at least they're trying, man. It's all they can do after the complete cluster that they created during COVID. He also said some stuff that got people's feathers ruffled. And because Pete Hegseth cares very deeply about fitness, you can see it when you look at him, right? And he cares about it across the board. Obviously, when you want to have a lethal military force, part of being lethal means that you are fit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that out loud, but naturally people have a problem with this. Here he is.
Fighting in the unit that many of you will lead are capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. They need to be fit, not fat.
It's true.
Sharp, not shabby, especially our leaders. And that's why we're reviewing how the department has maintained standards in the past, especially the last 4 years, and whether those standards have dropped, formally or informally.
No chubby.
Love it.
No chubby people. I mean, is that? Why do you want like a Rachel Levine going out there and fighting for you? I don't. Do you really? Because I don't.
No, for so many reasons.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say a big, really fat no is what I'm going to say to that. And you know what? That should also be implemented in our schools. Remember when JFK had all the physical fitness stuff? And I mean, I'm old enough to remember, well, maybe not remember, but I'm old enough to know that there were at least videos on it from like my parents' time. You know what I mean? Like,
but we had all the fitness tests in school, remember?
Right. You had to do a certain number of push-ups and all that kind of stuff. I remember that, being all excited. I'm going to do the push-up contest. You know what I mean? When I was in elementary school, they don't do that anymore. They don't do any of that stuff. Kids are fat. They are totally fat. And granted, some of it's because of the food. I get it. And RFK is trying desperately to clean that up. People are fighting him because they really want our kids to stay fat, you know?
And autistic, apparently.
Right. Apparently that too. Yeah, they're fighting him, but he's trying. But on top of that, I think there's nothing wrong with having that stuff in our schools.
I think this is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, and maybe I shouldn't say it out loud, but when I see fat cops, when I see fat firefighters, I'm irritated. I'm super irritated because it's one thing to meet a standard to get into firefighting or a police force, but there should be standards you have to maintain.
Right.
You got to chase bad guys, man. You got to lift people out of burning buildings. Like, come on.
If I, as a 54-year-old woman, can outrun a cop, that's bad.
That's bad.
It's bad.
So, yeah, a lot of people in here remember the President's Physical Fitness Award. Right. I sucked at it because I have total Kermit arms when it comes to like any upper body strength, but I rock at the flexibility stuff. See, because I'm so flexible.
I was the opposite, man. I lived for that crap. I was so competitive. I was like, bring it. I want to do like 75 push-ups. Let's do it.
And then when they would make you hang on the bar, I can't do it. My chin would be like, I can't do this. I can't hang. I could never do it.
These were the days, right?
But I'm also not trying to rescue people out of burning buildings.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
There's
And they
that.
made you run a mile and all that kind of stuff. They just don't do that stuff anymore. They don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame.
It is.
JD Vance was caught on a tarmac being asked about Pete Hegseth, and he is standing firmly behind him.
Have confidence in the secretary?
Look, I have 100% confidence in the secretary. I know the president does, and really the entire team does. It's one of the most bizarre things about the Hegseth nomination. From the very beginning, the media seemed to want to tank it. And when they failed and they got confirmed, they decided they wanted to keep on that effort to destroy Pete Hegseth as a man, as the Secretary of Defense. I think he's doing a great job. I think that he's brought a certain spirit back to the Department of Defense. And if you look at our military recruitment numbers, that's, in my view, the best testament to his leadership of the military is that for the first time in a very long time, we don't have terrible recruitment problems in the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. That's a great testament to his leadership, and I wish, frankly, the press talked more about that and not about anonymous sourcing from random staff.
Yeah, morale is up and recruitment numbers are up, and they don't want to talk about that. They just want to be like, he's a drunk.
Right. Who wears makeup?
Who wears
Apparently,
makeup?
I
I mean, if he's doing his makeup, I want to know how, because it's very natural.
It's very natural. He looks good. Looks
Right.
real
He does look
good.
Yeah.
And if you want your dogs to look good, can we interest you in some Ruff Greens? You need Ruff Greens in your life, not just for your dogs, but your cats too. This is a premium nutritional supplement. It was put together by naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who cares very deeply about dogs living their longest possible lives. And I know anybody who's got a dog in their life, that's all we ever want, right? Is our dogs to live for an extra long time. And you guys, look what it has in it. Essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, digestive enzymes. There's a 90-day challenge going on right now where you just take a look at your dog, memorize their health status at day 1 of starting Ruff Greens. And then at day 90, look at the difference. Your dog's breath is going to smell better. Their coats are going to be shinier. They're going to be running all over the place because their energy's back. They're just going to be healthier. And this is true for your kitty cats too. You can try this for free. You get a free Jumpstart trial bag. All you have to do is cover shipping at ruffchicks.com. It's RUFF chicks.com. Use code chicks. And you can differentiate like on that site at ruffchicks.com. You can choose if you're buying for a kitty cat or trying for a kitty cat or a doggo. And then you'll get your sample from ruffchicks.com when you use code chicks. The only warning that I will give you about it is that if you start it, don't plan on stopping because your pet is going to want it.
They're going to
demand it.
Total divas.
Total divas. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's talk about another member of Trump's team, and that is Scott Bessent. He was at IMF talking about just all kinds, the tariffs, the economy, the monetary policy, and he had a couple of great points to make. One, he was announcing that, of course, it is obviously in the world's best interest that we get our financial house in order. Here he is about that.
In the United States, we know we need to get our fiscal house in order. The last administration ran up the largest peacetime deficit in our nation's history. The current administration is committed to fixing this. We are open to critique, but we will not abide the IMF failing to critique the countries that most need it, principally surplus countries. In line with its core mandate, the IMF needs to call out countries like China that have pursued globally distorted policies and opaque currency practices for many decades. I also expect the IMF to call out unsustainable lending practices by certain creditor countries.
I like him.
I do too.
He's just,
I think if you had to like rank choice the favorite cabinet members, he and Marco would be tied for me. Like they are. And Vance, I mean, I don't consider him a cabinet member really, but like for as far as the cabinet, those two, Scott and Marco, man, they are
just so, even tempered, and he knows what he's talking about. I just really like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good choice.
And I know people are like, you shouldn't like him because he has a friend that criticized Trump really bad. I'm still not I still like him.
Right.
Sorry.
Mhm.
But we'll get into, because Elon is not a fan of Scott Bessent, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But first, there's another clip of him talking about, and I guess reassuring to some degree, our European allies, our allies all across the world, that when we talk about America first, it doesn't mean America only.
At this point, I wish to be clear. America first does not mean America alone. To the contrary, it is a call for deeper collaboration and mutual respect among trade partners. Far from stepping back, America First seeks to expand U.S. leadership in international institutions like the IMF and the World Bank. By embracing a stronger leadership role, America First seeks to restore fairness to the international economic system.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't.
It's like
He's the calmer downer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Trump says something crazy that gets the markets all riled up, he's the one that's just like,
he's a speak softly and carry a big stick guy.
yes,
That's kind of
Yes.
who he is.
he's
'Cause
super chill.
he does that. He's very chill, but he's like, I have a big stick.
And apparently he uses it to fight Elon because
Mhm.
Axios came out with this report, which seems to be verified by the White House, by both parties. I mean, it's clear. They don't make any bones about their dislike for one another. Here are the details. So they apparently got into a heated shouting match. And this was like within earshot of President Trump and other people in the White House last week. This was a dispute about the IRS. There was one witness who said, quote, it was a two billionaire middle-aged men thinking it was WWE in the hall of the West Wing.
Okay.
And apparently this all started on April 16th when Trump named Gary Shapley, Musk's choice, as acting commissioner of the IRS. But Scott wanted Deputy Treasury Secretary Michael Falkender in the position. And so Bessent lobbied Trump to install his pick and then was super mad that Elon was causing trouble behind the scenes. And he confronted Elon, and then F-bombs started to fly. And then he criticized Elon for overpromising and underdelivering on Doge. And Elon clapped back by calling Bessent a Soros agent.
Oh, damn.
And accusing him of having run a, quote, failed hedge fund.
Oh, crap.
They had to be separated, apparently. And then the argument got so heated again that somebody had to step in and separate. Laura Loomer got involved because she likes to get involved in all of these drama things.
Oh my God.
She started absolutely torching Scott Bessent on X, saying that he was a Trump hater or
He's not a Trump hater.
I know. And then Elon, because he follows Laura, added troubling in that same thread. But anyway, Scott Bessent got his pick in. Elon did not. And so, this is the talk of the town because it apparently got pretty heated. That's what's going on. Meanwhile, Elon is like very quietly stepping back as expected. We all knew he was going to be stepping back from Doge come May, and that is definitely happening. And he's talking about that. And so,
but Doge continues. He's
Right,
stepping back.
absolutely.
The Doge, the actual, acts of Doge continue. So, yeah.
And he'll still be involved. He said he's still going to be involved. Trump said super nice things about him yesterday, as a matter of fact. Just praised him up and down, saying that he's a great patriot, great friend. He's done a lot of great work. He's going to continue to serve in some sort of tangential capacity, but he's got to get back to Tesla.
Right. And Elon's really concerned about the CCP, which is a valid concern.
Sure.
I think that is valid. I'm with him on that. And then back on March 22nd, Scott Bessent actually said, this is an exact quote, there is no winning in Elon's role. Every single time he takes action, there are people that are going to come after him. It's true. It is that is truth. And he said that.
Yeah.
So, there is no winning when you're doing this, when you're cutting, you're slashing, any money. Like he's slashing, he's trying to do something really good for the American people and for our government. It's for us, really, the American taxpayers, what he's trying to do. He's trying to save us freaking money, and he's getting just ripped for it all over the place. He's been demonized, this guy. So even Scott said that back in March. And so I wish people would they all need to give each other some grace.
Yeah. But it's like Caroline Levitt said, she was just like, boys will be boys. Not everybody's going to be in lockstep. That's okay. Trump likes to listen to all sides and then make his own decisions.
Right.
I mean, I don't think this is as big of a deal as everybody wants it to be. It's just, so
these are two really smart men that are leaders in their own rights, and they're going to have opinions about stuff. People are going to knock heads, So it is what it is.
We all know, I think we've even shown graphs and charts and stuff on this very show. It's been a while, but we know that some of these elite educational institutions like Harvard, like Yale, they get a lot of foreign money, a lot, and not from foreign money, like not from foreign countries that we would necessarily want them to be getting money from. So a new executive order was signed yesterday, and here is the moment that happened.
The first executive order we have prepared for your attention, there are currently laws on the books requiring certain disclosures of universities when they accept large foreign gifts. We believe that certain universities, including, for example, Harvard, have routinely violated this law, and this law has not been effectively enforced. So this executive order charges your departments and agencies with enforcing the laws on the books with respect to foreign gifts to American universities.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I love that guy that reads all the orders.
I know.
Prepares them.
That'd be an awesome job, wouldn't it?
I just love him. I don't know his name. I have no idea who he is, but he's always there to summarize what the executive orders are all about.
We should get him on our show. We got to find out. That'd be a great guy to interview.
I just love him.
How do you do that?
Right?
Who are you? Yeah.
Who are you? Right? The executive order, like, how does it all work? I don't know. I don't know, but I just really
love to talk to that guy.
I also like it when our audience supports our audience, and you can do that right now. We have an audience member who makes the most amazing soaps, you guys. The company is called Taylor Soap Works. It's taylorsoapworks.com. Daisy's holding up the Amish furniture store.
I love
scent.
The Dirty Dancing one is so great, you guys.
Read the stuff that's in that one.
The Dirty Dancing has violets, saffron, and a hint of leather. And then
now I know when you hear the word Amish furniture store, you're like, why would I want to smell like that?
But it's awesome. It's mahogany, leather, and rosemary sage. That one is actually my favorite, I think.
I think it's mine too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It smells so like clean and like
so
I don't know, outdoorsy.
The colors are gorgeous. Like it has like gold. I don't know if I can do it justice. It's gold. That's the yellowish is like gold. It's beautiful. Yeah. They're beautiful soaps.
They really are. She does an amazing job.
Yes, she does.
They last for a really nice long time. And you're supporting a like-minded conservative who is part of our audience when you buy from her. Think about this for Mother's Day. This is like a slam dunk choice for Mother's Day. You cannot go wrong with Taylor Soap Works. Visit taylorsoapworks.com. Use code CHICKS. You're going to get 20% off non-sale items, you guys. 20% off non-sale items. taylorsoapworks.com. Speaking of Elon, we've played this clip before, but it's worth bringing back because as you might remember, when Elon is busy thinking about all the things that he's worried about, one of the top line items is the fact that humanity is literally disintegrating. We are not having kids enough so that we're going to sustain humanity. And it's a thing that keeps him up at night. Just to give you a reminder, here's what he said just a month or so ago.
Well, there's a lot of things, I suppose, that I worry about, but and some of these things will seem esoteric to people. The birth rate is very low in almost every country. And it's something, unless that changes, civilization will disappear. America had the lowest birth rate, I believe, ever. That was last year. Places like Korea, the birth rate is 1/3 replacement rate. So that means in 3 generations, Korea will be 3 or 4% of its current size. And nothing seems to be turning that around. Humanity is dying.
Yeah.
And people, it's just not something we evolved to react to. And I worry generally about the strength of America. America is the central column that holds up all of Western civilization. So if you like, if you've got the temple of Western civilization, America is the central column. If that column fails, it's all over.
Well,
That's not dire at all.
That's terrifying, right? I know. Then really, if you think about it, like millennials and Gen Z, and they're not having kids as much as, previous generations. They're not having as many kids.
And the wrong people are having kids,
right?
Like the radical Islam practicing weirdos. They're having like zillions
of kids. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty scary stuff. And, there's all kinds of reasons for it, but the reasons don't really matter. The point is people need to have kids, and we've got to, I don't know what you do about that, but now the White House is exploring all kinds of potential solutions, up to and including potentially offering bonuses to first-time moms for having babies. And so this is just this is a very young idea. This is not something there's a bill for or anything like that, but it's something that's being thrown around and talked about. And Trump was asked about it in the Oval Office yesterday, and here's what he said.
That you're considering doing something for moms across the country, giving them some kind of bonus so they have reading hours.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
I mean,
there's only so many babies Elon can father, you guys.
Right. So many women that he can knock up. You know what I mean? Can't get to them all. He's busy. Okay.
I mean, he's trying, but my God,
he's got a lot.
He can't do it alone.
Good Lord.
So anyway, I don't know how I feel about a $5,000 bonus.
I don't know how I do. I'm not a big fan of that either. I think it's more of a culture shift and not a let's pay people. I don't really like the whole I don't want to pay somebody to have a baby. You know what I mean? It's like, I just, when it comes to we're broke. We don't have the money to do that.
Right.
We don't have the money.
Can we just stop?
Can we just not? Yeah.
Spilling out all of our money for all of these things. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the idea, mostly because of conservative ideology reasons, but the reasons that some people on the left are not a fan of this idea are so freaking dumb that you just can't even believe it. So Jesse Waters did a segment about this, talking about the women of The View. He specifically calls out Whoopi because you can't make up the dumb, you guys. They are on a whole other level.
So stupid.
Of dumb.
Yeah.
Here's Jesse.
Trump's trying to pump up our birth rates. It's in dire straits. We're at 1.6 births per woman, but need to be at around 2.1 to keep the country alive. The ladies of The View are insulted.
I am incredibly insulted by this because clearly they don't know how women's bodies work. I don't know what $5,000 is supposed to do. And it's not even $5,000 because you have to cut it in half because you got to pay taxes on it.
So the millionaire thinks free money for new moms is insulting. I thought Democrats wanted the government to help families. I guess I'm wrong.
I thought that they loved it. And then I thought that they loved taxes too. All of a sudden she's pissed off at the taxes. That's weird. That's just bizarre. I thought you loved that. Whoops.
If Biden had offered this in his last month of the presidency, she would have been fawning all over it.
They would have loved it. They thought it would have been brilliant.
At least we're consistent. If Biden would have introduced this as an idea, we would have been like, that does not sit well. And we currently say, this does not sit well.
It doesn't.
We are consistent.
Yeah, I don't like the money part of it. Do I think that women should have more babies? Yes. But what's happened with feminism, which is bullshit, is that over the past however many years, they've been telling women, literally pounding it into women's brains, that having families is bad. That you don't need no man. And having families are going to hold you back. Babies are going to hold you back, which is what these young women have heard. You need to have a career and a career only, and families are terrible, which is a lie. It is a lie. They've lied to women.
And it's so interesting that you say that, because, and I just pulled this video just in this moment while you were talking, because I was like, I didn't even have this in the lineup, but I remember this video and it applies. This is, to your point, this is a young woman who is starting to do the math about how to have the life that she wants, including motherhood. and realizing what steps have to happen in order for that to happen. And she's freaking out. And I imagine that this is a similar sort of internal crisis that a lot of young women have. Check this out.
Realistically, if I want kids by about 28, but I want to be married for probably 2 years before having kids, I need to have a husband and be married by 26. And then I'm going to be engaged for probably about a year, you know, to plan the wedding and do all that stuff. So I need to be a fiance. I need to be engaged by 25. But then, you know, usually before you get engaged, you're probably dating the person for about 2 years. I feel like that's a good amount of dating someone. That means that I'm going to have to basically meet this person by 23? 22? Wait a second. I'm very much single. So how is this gonna work? Because my plans are getting a little, like, I actually have to meet someone tomorrow to have this be my life. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like I always tell my daughter, I had you at 39. You know, so you do have time. You have time to like live your life, do things, whatever. You really do. I mean, you don't have to be in your 20s to have babies. You don't. You know, you don't have to rush it like that. And you can have a career and you can have babies because we're living proof of that.
Right.
But I think that's what I hate, the narrative of you shouldn't have kids. You shouldn't have a family. It's not important. It holds you back. It doesn't. For me, my family makes me whole. My children have filled gaps that I never realized that I had in my life until I had them. Like I always felt like there was something for me. I'm not going to speak for anybody else or any other woman, but for me personally, something was always missing in my life until I had children. And then I was like, oh, that's what it was. You know what I mean? Like I was lied to because I was told that I didn't need to have children. Children made my life exponentially better. My daughter was an absolute blessing, right? She is an absolute blessing. So I just, you know, I think that we've been lied to as women. A lot of women have been lied to in this respect, but there's no time. I mean, for some women, you can't have babies after a certain time. Obviously, biologically, it's impossible, but I don't think that you have to do things on a timeline. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's talking about wanting to be a mom at age 28. And that's true. You can't plot out your life exactly according to your age, the way that she's trying to do. But I totally get sort of that sense of realization that the clock ticks and it's going to do that whether you want it to or not.
Mm-hmm. It does.
So if you have a plan, yeah, it does require that you kind of backtrack and think about all the steps it's going to take to achieve your family goals. And it does involve meeting someone, dating them for a reasonable amount of time, being engaged, you know, like all the things. So women who aren't thinking, I mean, I kind of applaud her for at least thinking it through.
Absolutely.
Because there are some young women who are so focused on career and not on family that then they find themselves really when it's too late. And now they're like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm grateful that I met my husband when I did. And, you know, we're older parents, but I always tell him if we had met when we were younger, we would have had a lot more kids.
Right.
You know? Exactly. We didn't have that luxury of meeting when we were in our 20s. We met when we were a lot older. Thank God we have the child that we do, you know, and it's a blessing, but I hear what she's saying. If you are younger and you meet somebody, I always tell like the kids that we have that haven't had children, I'm like, please, for the love, just have the babies. Have them.
There's never a perfect time. Just do it.
Right. There is never. You're absolutely right, Mock. There is never a perfect time. There never is. You're never going to have enough money. You're never going to have this. You're never going to like, they're always trying to make everything perfect. You know,
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect. Just have the babies. Have a lot of babies. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazingly, going back to The View and their reaction to this, naturally, because of who she is as a person, Sunny Hostin decided to make this about race.
Because when I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why, and I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births. But that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Did they say that?
No, I think I said enough.
What's that based on, though?
And so, well, it's just based on a study. And so the other thing
But have they said that anywhere? I mean, I feel like it to be fair.
It's just fair to who? It's just a.
Have they said that this is to target only white families?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You have to read
between the lines. I just gave the.
God,
I can read between the lines.
Yeah,
you mean just make shit up? Is that what you mean?
Make shit up. She's just so racist. It
Oh my
doesn't
God.
say only whites. Doesn't say that anywhere. You said that. But to her labored point, what's wrong with white babies? And is anything? What's wrong with white babies? Does she have a problem with white babies? Because she is a racist. If she has a problem with white babies, I mean, I'm just pointing that out. If she wants to talk about that, which nobody else wanted to talk about that because nobody cares. She's the one who cares about that because she sees everything through the lens of race. But since we're talking about that, WTF is wrong with white babies. All babies are great. All of them. She's
and
awful.
maybe I am actually bothered by the fact that if there was a 1% measly increase last year and it was all Hispanic babies, that speaks to the illegal immigration that we have had. And I have a problem with that. So if people are coming to this country from whatever country, not even if they're just Hispanic, but if they're coming to this country from everywhere else, that's not how the replacement population is supposed to work.
Right.
Americans are supposed to birth Americans, right? And yes, legal migration is welcome because we like to vet who comes in here and continues to grow the country. When we don't know, that's not okay. And that's what's happening. And that's a problem.
Totally. It's legal migration is not what's been happening. That's not what's, it's like, obviously. And if there has been an increase in Hispanic births, maybe we should look into that, Sonny. Yeah, I mean, because why is that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people that the last dude flew in illegally
makes me so
on our
mad.
dime. Right.
She's not the only one with these crazy thoughts. There's a Fordham University professor by the name of Christina Greer who made similar ridiculous nonsense accusations. Here she is.
We can't ignore the racial element. This has a long-standing history in this country about who should be the dominant group. We know that the president has talked many times about his good genes and his eugenics, and we know that they want/need more white people in this country. This is what the mass deportations are about. We know that the way the rules are set up in this country, only white women can make white men. Only white women can make white babies. So if that's the case, you have to make sure you defund abortion. You have to make sure you make it illegal and criminal. You have to make sure that you make it as easy as possible for white women specifically to be able to have children, whether it's IVF or whatever it may be, because the idea is to get them back to 100 years ago when white people are the dominant group. How do you
wait? If you got rid of abortion, then more black babies would be born.
That's what she's saying. That's what she's saying. She's saying that's why there's a push to like end abortion, because we can't have all these black babies. You know what I mean? That's what she thinks is the reason that Trump wants to, put limits on abortion.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, because if you limit abortion, then black babies will be born. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah, you're right.
Ask Margaret Sanger what she wanted. She was the one who talked about eugenics.
Right? When was Trump talking about his eugenics ever?
Never. So that chick made no sense. If you ban abortion across the board, there will be more black babies born. You make no sense, lady. I mean, that doesn't. It's antithetical to what she makes no sense. It's nonsensical. Her argument is I'm sorry, but it doesn't hold water, because
she is a professor, and
because
you can't question her.
If Trump was really a gigantic racist and he didn't want black people to be born, he'd be like, by all means, Planned Parenthood, keep doing all the abortions. You know what I mean? Because he would be like Margaret Sanger, who was all for eugenics. She's full of crap.
I just can't believe that they're trying to even inject a racial component into something that was literally brought up as an across the board first time mom payment or bonus or whatever. I mean,
everything.
What the hell?
Everything is seen through the lens of race with liberals. Everything.
Oh my God, it's exhausting.
Because
It's
they're
exhausting.
racist. Because they are in fact racist.
Yep.
Mhm.
Dick Durbin is, of course, a sitting senator, has been for like centuries at this point, and he couldn't just say I'm not gonna run again. He had to put out like one of those really musical, fancy, highly produced videos. We're not going to show the whole thing, but here is the key moment.
The decision of whether to run for re-election has not been easy. I truly love the job of being United States Senator, but in my heart, I know it's time to pass the torch. So I'm announcing today that I will not be seeking re-election at the end of my term.
It required like all the music and all the...
And then he went on to say, you know, we've got so much work to do and democracy is falling and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if you believe that, then you'd stay. You know what I mean? Like, he's just, this guy is full of
It's so
crap.
interesting because we do seem to be, Republicans seem to be gaining some advantage, let's just call it that, with the number of Democrats who have opted to not run again, because the Senate seats that we thought were sure things like Durbin's are now up for grabs. And it's really interesting because at the same time, the GOP has to worry about the House. And I don't know that we're going to be able to hang on to the House in the midterms. We've got to keep people engaged, like super engaged.
We definitely do. That's
That's
Dick may be
scary.
leaving because the Epstein files may actually come out eventually. Maybe he's afraid of those.
Yeah. Well, do you believe that they're going to, though, at this point?
I'm
I'm starting to lose faith.
I'm losing a lot of faith, but I'm still holding on. I got a little shred of hope.
Yeah. And all these Democrats, you know, when they can't fight based on solid policy ideas, they fight by weaponizing the courts. So now we've got some more lawsuits coming. Here is Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison to announce a new lawsuit against the Trump administration.
To announce that I'm suing the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the United States Department of Justice.
For what?
Here's the opening line of our lawsuit.
God.
Minnesota brings this lawsuit to stop President Trump and his administration from bullying vulnerable children in this state.
Oh my gosh.
He's mad about the kids and the trans kids in sports.
Oh,
that's what this is about.
Is he mad about that? Okay. Oh, okay. Is he bullying kids? He's bullying the trans kids. What about the girls who are in locker rooms who see penises flying around? Are they getting bullied? We should sue them right back. Where are the parents suing those parents, suing those people, suing those legislators? We are living in a bizarro world.
And it just, I mean, and Letitia James, who's, you know, got her own host of problems at this. She's announcing another suit. She says, I'm suing the Trump administration with a multi-state coalition of AGs for imposing illegal tariffs. These tariffs are unlawful, and if not stopped, they'll raise taxes on Americans and lead to more inflation, unemployment, and economic damage. I thought she wanted more taxes.
They need to.
I don't understand this new.
This chick is going to go down at some point.
When?
Mike Davis he's probably going to make it like his personal mission to make sure this chick goes down.
What does he call her? Big Tish or something like that? Like
something fat Tish. I don't know. He's like Chunky Tish. I don't know.
I'm only now just learning of this Democrat from Michigan, this woman who is absolutely hysterical. Her name, and I don't mean that in the funny way. I mean, like, she's hysterical crazy. Her name is Haley Stevens. She is in Michigan's 11th district. You're about to see a video of her on the House floor the other day. I don't know what she's talking about. It's impossible to understand. She's wearing latex gloves and she mentions them. So I think it has something to do with the with healthcare. I don't even know. She is out of her mind. And I'm just now learning of her. Here is a little introduction to Haley Stevens.
God.
I yield the gentlelady 30 additional seconds.
The gentlewoman is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Because of the
servitude, sharing in the profession with those who have not come before you. Similar times of trying medical need, wars and flus past. You will see darkness, you will be pushed, and our society needs you. To stand together at this time, our country loves you. To our doctors and our nurses, I wear these latex
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman from Maryland is reserved. The gentleman from Texas is recognized. The gentleman from Texas is now recognized.
Oh my
The
God.
gentlelady from Michigan is out of order.
Oh my gosh.
The gentlelady from Michigan is out of order. The
She's still
gentlelady
screaming.
from Michigan is no longer recognized. The gentlelady from Michigan is.
And
I
now she's running
Gentle-
for Senate.
Oh,
You guys.
of course she is. Of course. The gentle lady is an oxymoron, first of all.
God.
You know that chick like boiled a bunny in her last relationship. You know she did.
Oh
I
my
will not be ignored, Dan. She is a
I have no idea what she was ranting about.
Michigan,
no idea.
man. Michigan, get it together. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
It's bad. And even though we think Florida mostly has their shit together, they got some crazy people down in Florida
Like
too. There's a
Texas.
woman.
Yeah.
There's a woman named Kelly Skidmore. She is a state rep down in Florida. And she's all mad because as part of like a health and sexuality class, there's a video that schools show that says life begins at conception, which is a scientific fact.
It is a fact.
But she has a problem with that. And you're going to hear her talk about her problem with it.
I will tell you that if my daughter were about to be forced to watch a video that said life begins at conception, I would have a problem with that because I don't share that opinion.
Oh my
Because
God.
it is not fact.
Level of
It
is.
You psycho.
It is fact, you know. And then she's like, trust the science. Trust it. Okay, lady.
Oh my God.
Mhm. Yeah.
That
Somebody
wow.
needs to ask her, when does she think it begins? She probably is like, it begins when the baby comes out.
Yeah, like what would she say
What is-
happens at conception then?
Right. What
if
is it?
not a new life being created?
Right. I'd like to know. I'd like to
Like
know
what's
what
going
her,
on?
her version of Fauci science is. What is that? What is that, lady?
Oh my God. These people, this,
Mm-hmm.
and this, as you can tell, this segment is devoted to crazy Democrats. And you cannot have a crazy Democrat segment without Jasmine Crockett.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's not possible.
Yep.
She's getting invited to the nighttime talk shows.
Of
and so
course.
whenever she talks about Elon being an idiot or not having smarts, I'm just fascinated by the amount of narcissism it takes to say something that stupid. Here she is.
Is almost like incomprehensible. It is so bad. And when you bring up the idiot known as Elon Musk, he is not only like very sinister and has no idea what he's doing, and people are like, oh no, he absolutely knows because he's the richest man in the world. Like, yes, he knows how to hire smart people, but don't conflate that and believe that he is the genius, because he ain't.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you're right. Narcissism. It is absolute narcissism.
Off the charts.
Wow.
Off the charts.
Okay. Let's put you up against him with an IQ test, lady.
Right?
Let's see that happen. I'd love to see it. Seriously. We'll like do a pay-per-view on that and then give all the money to charity. We'll give it to autism charities.
Imagine an Elon Jasmine debate.
It's like hair would be flying, nails,
Lashes.
and then he would just be calm.
Yeah. He'd be like, and then he'd be
He would
like,
just-
do you want me to get you pregnant? Because
Right.
I'm down.
I can totally get you pregnant right now. Like I can look at you and get you pregnant from across the room. You want me to do it? I can telepathically impregnate you from right here. Uh-huh.
We've talked about the fact that AOC and Bernie,
What do you got?
they've been out on their like not global, but national tour.
Like flying around in private jets. On their
flying around
global,
private
like,
jets.
"Down with the oligarchy.
But she is, people have been talking about her potentially replacing Chuck Schumer and running for Senate. I think she's got higher aspirations because she's getting that feedback. Like there's this constant story, this narrative now out there suggesting that she, now that she's 35, is totally the right person to be on the Democrat presidential ticket. And Kayleigh McEnany had this to say about it. She says, don't rule that out, you guys, because this is a possibility.
And so,
but I really think she has her eye on something bigger. I think she looks at running for president and taking the mantle from Bernie Sanders. You know, Nate Silver said that he thinks she could be the pick. She definitely, if you look at YouGov, among Democrats, 61% favorable. That puts her at the highest favorable of any Democrat who hasn't run for president. But that's among Democrats. She repels the very voters that the party repelled in 2024, centrist, independents. So you can win a primary, perhaps. That's still a big haul. But winning a general election is a much different thing. But I would watch out for her. I mean, she's pulling in tens of thousands of people.
And raising a lot of money.
Yes, quarter one, 2 times any other quarter amount she'd raised at $9.6 million. And that, she was already a prolific fundraiser. She's out raising herself.
I agree with her 100%. I think she will absolutely run for president.
Well,
Without
and
question.
You mentioned the private plane flying. This was so funny because just back a couple months ago, she was suggesting that Elon should only fly 100% commercial. And somebody asked her, well, why don't you fly commercial? And she said, I do. I commute to DC on either rail or commercial flights. Believe it or not everyone wants to screw over the public for personal profit. It's a bizarre idea to many these days.
Whatever,
And then
AOC.
this video was captured literally this week of her emerging from a private jet with Bernie on their tour.
They're so full of shit.
Right?
You know? And he's like, fight the oligarchy, I hate millionaires, until he became a millionaire. And then he's like, fight the billionaires. Oligarchy. F off, you socialist. He's been screaming the same crap. The guy never had a job until he got in the government, literally lived in his parents' basement for 40 years. And then he's like, I think I'll work in government. And that's what he did. And that's all he's been doing his whole adult life, if you even want to call it that. I mean, what a loser this guy is. Total loser. He is a grifter. Always has been, always will be. The people who follow him are sheep. Mindless, lobotomized sheep.
And I just don't know if oligarchy, fighting the oligarchy is a winning tagline.
For morons, it is. Morons who seriously buy into this bullshit.
But morons don't even know what that word means.
Oh my gosh, Mock. They don't know what fascism means.
Well, that's true. And they keep
they're like,
using it.
they're like the right wing and Trump is a fascist. He's a Nazi. I mean, they don't know what that means, but they continue to use it. They glom onto it and they're like, yeah, fascism. Really? Have you read a history book? Do you even know what's going on? There are just a lot of stupid people that are so in love with following these people, thinking that they're fighting the man when they are the man.
Mm-hmm.
They are the man. AOC and Bernie is the man.
Just a reminder of what a bullet we dodged. I just thought we'd throw in this old clip of Gwen Walz, and it just cracks me up whenever I see it. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to throw that in for old time's sake,
just for
because
fun.
You guys.
Bye-bye, Donald Trump. We are turning the page.
Oh my gosh. Why are they all crazy?
52 days and we are turning the page. 52 days and it is bye-bye, Donald Trump.
She's terrifying.
Nut job. Oh my God. Can you imagine waking up next to that, gentlemen?
Oh my God.
Wake up next to that. And those crazy eyes. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Smelling some tires.
Also, to close out the crazy Democrat segment, we need to talk about Michelle Obama really quickly. She continues to have this podcast with her brother, and then they invite famous guests on. I think this time it was, what's that chick's name? No. What is it? Tahashi.
Oh,
what's
I know.
that actress?
I know. She was in Hidden Figures, and I love that movie. I'm going to tell you what her name is.
Yeah, tell me, because I feel like it's Tahashi, but I could be wrong about. I may be saying that wrong.
It's Taraji. Taraji Henson.
Yes.
Taraji. Right.
Taraji?
Yeah.
Right?
Taraji.
Taraji Henson.
Taraji. Sorry.
Something like that. Anyway, that was the guest. And so imagine that these two black women, along with Michelle Obama's brother, Michelle is complaining about not being able to show her pain.
Oh,
because
my God.
if you know anything about black women, it's that they hold their feelings on the inside.
They're very quiet, you guys. Very, very quiet.
What? This is like bizarro upside down world right here.
Articulate as black women our pain, because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission to do that.
And does anyone care?
Yeah, there's
Will
that.
they care?
There's
If
that
we
part.
knew, I think we would care. If we knew.
Mm-hmm.
If we knew.
Or, yeah. And we have to ask ourselves, the men in our lives is, why wait to be asked? It seems like what we go through is pretty obvious. I mean, maybe we're not complaining, but we're actually living life out loud,
It's so profound.
Okay. Jasmine Crockett has made a career off of bitching and complaining. Like, she takes taxpayer money to do it. So what?
I just, that is the stereotype, is that black women constantly just hold their feelings on the
hold
inside.
it inside. Yeah, they do. They never speak. They don't. They never complain.
Never let you know how they're feeling.
Never. They're not outspoken.
Nope. Not at all. Poor Michelle.
Planet is she living on?
Poor Michelle.
God bless her. She's been so oppressed.
Yeah, it's been tough road.
Especially in Martha's Vineyard, in that gigantic mansion.
Well,
Or is
I mean,
it the one in
that's
Hawaii. Is it Hawaii? I can't keep track
Think
of them.
about having to choose between them all the time. What a chore.
Or Chicago. I think there's one in Chicago. I can't keep track. I can't keep
And
track of all the
neither can
mansions.
they.
That's
It's
right.
very, very hard to have to keep track.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry. It's so
give
hard for me to
her
keep
the
some
sympathy
grace.
due.
I got to give her some grace on keeping track of all the mansions. Yes.
She also explained, because, there's been all these rumors about her marriage falling apart. And so she kind of addressed that in that same podcast, because she was like, everybody decides that I'm getting a divorce simply because I didn't go to an event with Barack. And she said that the reason she didn't go to the inauguration, or I forget, the funeral of Jimmy Carter, whatever, was because she didn't have a dress, and she didn't want to have a dress. And so she told her team, I don't want to have a dress. I just don't want to go. And so that was the cross she had to bear, you guys.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to find a dress.
Oh, I mean,
but her marriage
okay.
is fine. Her marriage is rock solid.
That's it. Okay. Well, I mean, we have that problem a lot. I just don't want to show up for work some days because I don't have a dress. And I tell our team that. We have like a gigantic team of people that dresses us.
Right.
It's obviously a problem that a lot of us women have, when we don't want to get up and do something. When you don't want to go to when you don't want to go to like a former president's funeral, I know that it's tough for all of us ladies. We're like, I have nothing to wear, and our team isn't there to help us with that. So we're just not going to go. F it. Let's just not go. Team, alert the people, team, that we're not going to. What? Just like seriously, different world, man. Different world entirely. World. Out of touch.
Ben Shapiro went to a different world by visiting Ukraine. And the reason is because he today is releasing his interview with Zelensky. I did not see this coming, but this trailer was released yesterday.
Yes, all good. Action. I want to start by asking you about the meeting that you had in the Oval Office. How do you feel that you could have handled things better with the president and vice president?
The meeting in the Oval Office, it did not help Ukraine.
You spent nearly $200 billion to the defense of Ukraine. There are lots of questions about where the money is going.
There's nothing to hide. We're absolutely open.
Would an audit be possible by the United States of where those dollars are going?
We are kind of the living shield against Russia's invasion to the civilized world.
I want to get to Russia's intentions and the possibilities of a ceasefire. Americans have questions about things that are happening here.
Okay. I have two primary questions. One is, why is he wearing a collared shirt for Ben? He did that.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Why did he do that for Ben and not for the president? And two, how can we interview him? Because I have other
I saw
questions.
you asking our group that, and I have zero desire. If you
I'll take
Zelensky,
the lead. I'll take the lead, and I'll ask, because I have questions.
I would like to see that. I would like to be an observer of that interview.
Right. And if we do get an interview with him, I want you to show up in sweats. In your pajamas.
Again, I will not be showing up. I will simply be observing.
You have to show up. You have to show up in your pajamas and just hang out in the background and be like, ah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Just do that in the background and I'll ask the questions. I will ask some questions.
Does it require us going to Ukraine? Because
oh my God, no, it will be done via Zoom and you will be in your pajamas.
Okay. All right.
And that's because that's how we're going to roll with that one. You guys, I mean, if Ben Shapiro, not saying that, I mean, Ben Shapiro is obviously exponentially more popular than we are, but it's not like do we consider him a journalist? What is he considered? What is he considered? Is he a journalist?
I don't think so. I think he is a legit, like
influencer,
a political influencer.
Okay. So like, we're kind of like, we're low, like we're down, we're like on the bottom basement floor of that category. I feel like there's a chance. I feel like we could do this, right, guys? You think?
With all of our vast connections to the Ukrainian government to get access, I feel like we could do this.
I feel like we could do
absolutely.
this.
Anyway, I will be tuning into that because I do want to see how that goes and how much Ben pushes him. I really will be curious about that. Meantime, as you've seen, Caroline Leavitt has opened up the press room to independent journalists of all sorts. Tim Pool was there just the other day. And I think regularly, Natalie Winters is part of the press pool from the War Room, from Steve Bannon's War Room. And CNN did sort of an expose on all of these right-wing journalists who are now part of the press pool. This guy interviewed Natalie Winters, and she just does not hold back, which I super appreciate. Here she is.
To the people, and I'm sure you see this online every single day, who say you don't deserve to be here because you're not a real journalist. What's your response to them?
Well, I'm pretty sure the group of people in there spent, 4 years covering for someone who was essentially dead, and that's being charitable in my description of him, a president by the name of Joe Biden. So to all those people who are apoplectic over having new media voices, you guys failed.
Whoops. That's why we're here.
That's why we're
here. You guys failed.
I mean, she's not wrong. She is not wrong about that.
I love that. I love that so much.
It's fantastic. I'd like to see what did he say to her after that? Did he go?
He went on to narrate about how Caroline has now blocked access. Like, it's no longer the White House Correspondents Association no longer has control over who is where. So actually the whole little bit that he did with other influencers aside from her was pretty negative. Like, it was a negative spin towards those people. He presented them in as bad of a light as he could because this is CNN. So what would you expect?
Yeah. Okay.
It was ridiculous.
Okay.
Speaking of journalism and how much they've fallen as an entire profession, Scott Jennings sparred with a journalism professor about why the media mainstream media no longer has credibility, why journalists are looked at unfavorably. This journalist professor did not get it. And Scott was like, "You're so close to getting it." And it was just like peak Scott Jennings.
Has taken advantage of this situation, I think, quite cleverly, quite wisely. They've played into a weakness. What situation? The situation of media being under attack. And so they've created a situation where...
You've almost got it. Keep going. What the right wing is taking advantage of is finally the American people saying enough is enough. They're tired of feeling like the mass media screens out one viewpoint versus another in political coverage. They're tired of media institutions favoring one party over another. They're tired of narratives over factual stories. If I had any advice for 60 Minutes or anybody else, it would be just cover the news and try to be fair about it and stop putting your finger on the scale, especially during campaigns.
You're talking about the old mass media myth that you could have this thing that was in the middle. The Walter Cronkite saying, that's the way it is, when it wasn't for many Americans the way it was. When people were pissed off.
But people back in those days trusted the media, did they not?
No, they just couldn't be heard. Because there was no two-way. Now we have the internet.
Look at the Gallup polling. It was here, And now it's here. It's fallen off of a cliff.
Yeah, we do have that Gallup polling
It's
about
terrible.
trust in media, and now, as in recent years, and let's be honest, Scott, a lot of this is driven by the rhetoric on your side of the aisle.
Oh my God.
You think it's driven by the rhetoric, not the performance?
Absolutely. That's the question.
But my point is this. If you're CBS or any other news outlet, the reason that you have lost trust ought to be obvious to you, and the way to fix it also ought to be obvious to you, and it has nothing to do with Donald Trump and everything to do with the product. Just try to make a better product that appeals to more people, and the way you appeal to more people is by not crapping on half or more than half of the country because of their values and political viewpoints.
I think that is a fair, just if we were sort of on another planet, out of context.
On another planet?
God.
What's like, we're not on another planet. He's
It's
absolutely
fair,
right.
period.
Make a better widget. Make a better
God,
widget.
just try to be honest for once.
I know, right?
I mean, this is so hard for them. It's so painfully hard.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Even Cenk Uygur accepts and understands that there are problems with the left when it comes to just not understanding how much they're turning people off. And so he is explaining it in this podcast. I don't know whose podcast it is, but credit to Cenk because he's kind of right about this.
There's nothing wrong with that. And of course, on the left, guys, my God, we are offended at everything. We're offended at everything.
It's true.
And it's so annoying. And so the fact that the left can't see that is amazing, because now to my friends on the left who think, oh, no, you're just validating the right wing, etc. Guys, there's objective reality. When 79% of the country tells you that they don't want transgender women playing in women's sports, okay, you can say that you don't agree with that position. Nothing wrong with that. There's 18% who say yes, right? But understand that you're in the 18% and you're not in the 79%. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean that one person is more right morally or not, but it does mean you're in the minority and your positions seem radical to others. Yeah. Right? And they can't get that through their head. They think, no, everybody thinks like us. It's only the fascists who say keep Messi out of women's soccer or LeBron out of women's basketball. No, it's not just the fascists. It's 80% of the country. So please, and when you go to burst these bubbles, the people inside the bubbles hate you.
Yeah.
So that's the situation I'm in.
Well, look,
Yeah, and you're not a victim. I'm getting
True.
I am at the point where I'm just so sick of that side, always, constantly, perpetually being a victim. Shut up. You are not a victim. And I think a lot of people, most of the people on our side are tired of that too. It's like, you know what? We're all Americans. Like, you're not constantly
good comparatively.
Right. Yeah, we live in the best country on the planet. That's why everybody's clamoring to get in here. So you're not a victim. STFU. You know what I mean?
I know it. All right, it is time for some My Pillow Talks. And first of all, I know you have experienced this. I know I have experienced this. I know lots of people in our audience will relate to what it can be like to call a doctor's office these days. Sometimes you might have the best doctor in the world, but their front office staff is
worse. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've encountered this more times than I care to count.
If they answer.
Oh my God. Yeah, if they answer. But when they answer, a lot of times it sounds like this.
Thanks for calling. Who are you and how did you get this number? And who do you know here? And you would know other doctors to try? Oh, you want to see Dr. Doug? Okay, well, name 3 procedures he's done in the last week. Go ahead. Okay, well, what is wrong with you? Never mind. Oh my God, can you hold on for 1 second? Is Dr. Doug seeing new sick people or only old sick people? Because this one's sick, kind of gross. Since you've never been here before and we don't know you you can come in April 4th, 2027. What's your insurance? Oh, ew.
So true.
No, we take it. We just don't like to. If you have to pay out of pocket, that is on you. That's a gamble, and you will have to sign off on that because they only cover if you're severely diseased or basically dying. Okay, so I did not write any of that down, not even the appointment. So I'm going to text you a form and you're going to fill it out, and then that'll make your appointment. Just make sure to get here 15 minutes early so that you can wait an hour. All right? Okay, great. We'll see you then.
My husband, the last time he went into the doctor, he was there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And he got up to leave, and he was, you know my husband. He started making a scene, like he was like, I'm out of here. Like, my time is valuable. I'm over this shit. I'm getting ready to leave. And they were like, sir, he's coming. He's coming. You know what I mean? It was one of those deals. And he's like, I'm not waiting any longer. Like, if you make an appointment at 8, make it at 8, not 11, you know?
Right.
I mean, what in the world? This is what they just have no concept of time. A lot of these doctors, seriously, doctors.
I think they have plenty of concept of time. They have no consideration of time. They just don't believe patients have valuable time.
Lives? Like, we don't have lives, but they do. Okay.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, relatable, right? So relatable.
So relatable. Yes.
Also, have you heard of the everything shower?
No.
So an everything shower is when, and this is a woman thing, when women take an everything shower, it means they're washing their hair, they're shaving their legs, they're doing like all the things. Otherwise, it's just like a regular shower, not an everything shower.
That makes sense. Yes.
But this is a new and foreign concept to men. And so this man on Reels or TikTok or wherever was asking the world, can someone please explain an everything shower? And the comments, you guys, the best thing ever. And the best thing about the comments is when a hilarious woman with a hilarious laugh reads them. This is my favorite thing.
Everything showers. I keep seeing on this app all these girls talking about taking an everything.
Your comments did not disappoint. Let's tell the guys what an everything shower is. I usually remove my internal organs and rinse them off before popping them back in.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure it's just a regular shower with sesame seeds, poppy seeds, garlic, and onion.
Oh my God.
And everything bagel. That's what she's describing. It's when we take off our skin and wash our
True.
And then lizard cells.
Yep.
This is usually when I unhinge my jaw to let the demons out, so they can flop around the floor of the shower like birds in a garden. And then this one of Bretman. If the men find out we can shapeshift, they're going to tell the church. Bathing in the blood of a baby lamb.
It's true. That's exactly what everybody's doing.
It's when I take off my eyeballs and wash them thoroughly before I pop them back in. I also remove every hair follicle and wash my
strand by strand.
And then put my hair back on.
We all do that, right? All the women do that. You don't do it?
Oh my God. I love that so much. That is an everything shower.
It's an everything
so hopefully
shower.
that clears everything up for you guys. All right. So I'm getting knee surgery. Your husband's also getting knee surgery.
Yeah, you guys are in competition for knee surgery now. It's like a horse race.
Which actually I don't know that I want to be ahead in this one. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have someone who's going through it and can tell me day by day, here's what to expect.
Yeah, she's doing it the week before Greg is doing it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really fun 2 weeks for me.
It's going to be bad.
I know it's not all about me,
guys.
but still, it's going to be a crazy 2 weeks, you guys.
It's going to be crazy. So anyway, I saw this video and I thought, because I do get in my feed a lot of videos from like physical therapists that have good knee exercises or good exercises to do pre-op, that kind of thing. So I get a lot of that in my feed. And so anytime I see a caption that says, if your knee hurts when you do this, try this modification, right? I'm all about that. And so I saw this video and I was like, this is going to be super helpful. And this is what it was. If your knees hurt when you're on the treadmill, here is a modification. Just take off your shoes.
That is a great modification.
Right? I thought
you
it
shouldn't
was
be running
so
anyway.
good.
You should never run.
No, I don't.
I don't even run. And I've never had knee surgery. I've had back surgery, but never ran again. Running is terrible for you. Walk.
It's bad
Don't
for your
run.
knees for sure. And I've never been a runner. I've never wanted to run. I
Don't
don't
run.
plan to run.
Do not
I
run.
just want to walk like a normal human and go upstairs like a normal human.
Right.
That's my goal.
Do not
So
run.
Anyway, also, this was totally relatable as well because very rarely now do people actually use ice trays, because most refrigerators that you buy now have like the automatic ice giver outer, whatever that dispenser. That's the word.
Yeah.
Not giver outer.
Giver outer. It's a giver outer.
But in our little carriage house thingy, in our guest house, we have it's a very small refrigerator. It's not bar fridge sized, but it's not full size. It's like a 2/3 size refrigerator. And we realized when we had our company from Indy not long ago, well, holy crap, we have to get ice trays because it doesn't have that dispenser. So we got ice trays. Why am I incapable of doing that? Why can I not fill ice trays, first of all, without getting splashed, but then second of all, without spilling them on the way to the freezer? Why is this hard? Is it just me?
Probably because you can't walk.
Okay, that's fair. I do have a very wonky walk right now.
Yeah, you can't walk. That's part of it.
But I feel like even in my good walking days, I looked a lot like this woman. This is totally me. Totally me.
And then there's no water.
Right.
It's true.
That is how
it's very true.
I can't do it.
You
I can't
you have to walk really, really slowly.
But then I feel like I'm shaking, like my hands shake. I don't have steady hands.
Get somebody else to do it.
Clearly, that's what I need to do. And then lastly, we can't finish out my Pillow Toks without dogs, right? And so this dog has a very unique jump.
Oh. Come on, Mal. Patrick, come on.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I know, I had to put it in there 3 times because it was so fast.
That is just remarkable.
Incredible. Wait, I gotta do it again.
Come on, Mal. Patrick, come on.
You're like an athlete. That's just awesome. I'd be so pissed if one of my dogs could do that. You guys have no idea.
Oh yeah, that'd be bad news.
Oh, it'd be so bad, especially if Theo could do it, because Theo is an escape artist. We've got every sort of criminal collar on him because he will escape. But that is amazing.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I know I've seen some Venmos come through, so let me make sure I have those ready. Okay, so from yesterday, we got from Tiffany T on Venmo. She said, borrowed 30 grand in 2012 with my loans to be forgiven after 10 years. In 2019, payments were halted and no interest accrued. I made extra payments and my balance was down to around $4,000 until I lost my job twice due to COVID. My payments are only $35 now for another 10 years.
Okay, that's not terrible though. It's not terrible.
That's not terrible. But I mean, there's some people who have just astronomically, ridiculously high interest rates. If anything can be sort of forgiven, I guess it would be the interest rates should come down. But like people should pay their principal back. There's no question.
They got to pay their loans. Yep. Pay your loans back.
Yeah, you got to pay them back. Let's see. Colleen Wilson said, referencing Hegseth, investigating a leak can be very simple. Feed everyone different information, see what comes out in the news. No need for polygraph confirmation. In response to that. Yeah, I don't know if that's what happened, but that would be a very interesting strategy for sure.
It. Yeah, that's a great idea. Mm-hmm.
And then also, let's see. Colleen Wilson said, got my gardenias yesterday from Fast Growing Trees, best flowering bush ever, as well as some strawberries. I bought strawberries from Walmart this spring, but couldn't get them to live. Fast Growing Trees sends them already alive.
Yep.
They're the best, man.
I love gardenias.
Marilyn Ayre says, good morning, beautiful chicks. Testimonial time. Taylor Soapworks has the best shower steamers. Oh my God, they so do.
They do. Yes.
They smell fantastic and last forever. In every shipment I've received, I have gotten a complimentary lip balm. Take my money. This is the service that our folks provide.
Right.
Yep. Alexis Wilhelm says, Michigan, what is happening to us? All kinds of crying emojis. Osuki says, can you guys tell me the name of the judge who was caught with an MS-13 member living in his house? He had several firearms in his possession. He stepped down from his office. I can't think of his name. I don't know, but I know Google will know.
Yeah.
So that should be a fairly easy Google search. Minnesota Solar Baby says, Mock, just get a portable ice maker, problem solved. I love mine. portable ice maker.
Yeah, they
How does
have
that work?
those. They're like standalone ice makers. You plug them in and they make
Oh,
ice.
but this is a very small little space, so I don't have room for an extra like machine. You know what I
You
mean?
could put it on the outside. It'd be like a hotel.
It would be like a hotel.
Like, there's your ice maker.
All right. Now you.
MJ Homestead, living our dream. Good morning. Obama was not the first black president. People forget that his mom was white. Technically, he's the first mixed race president. We haven't had a black president yet. Take my money. I have made that comment. I did it on the air, like on one of our first shows on Saturday back at WIBC. And I was basically assaulted by somebody in our office. That's a whole other story. We'll have to tell you guys about that one day. It was really,
That is a good story.
really good story. Sherry Fox, love you chicks. Thank you, Sherry. Shelly Ethington, I was 18, met my husband in October. First date was in December, engaged in January, married in March. Here we are,
gosh.
51 years later, 5 children, 14 grandchildren. God
Wow. What a great story that is.
I love it so, so much. Dave Larson, before the invention of crowbars, did crows drink at home? Take my money. Mike Sassman, pretty sure that Michigan chick would be burned by holy water. Just saying.
Right? Oh
Yeah, she was, somebody else was driving that car. Mike. Douche Elias, I'm a victim of liberal rot.
I don't get what that means though, because I don't feel like he's a victim of liberal.
No, I think
We've seen you before, and you're not.
I think you're fine, Douche Elias.
You're
yeah.
okay.
Joan Bacon, Google Bernie Sanders commune for article about Bernie getting kicked out of a commune for not doing his share of the work. Surprise!
Oh, damn.
He was just there to take. Big shocker. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's hysterical.
Wow.
What do you got, Joan? You guys bring it in. We're bringing it in. It's Thursday. Everybody have the best Thursday ever. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.
The bell.